Hello, BookTube. It's a bright, beautiful Friday here. I just recently worked my way out from under a monster deadline, so I've been relaxing without any Catholic guilt. And it's not cold, and it's not overcast. It's not cloudy or windy. It's not icy. No ice on the ground. So Bean and I have spent a good deal of time outside, chatting with each other, walking around, enjoying the sights and smells and whatnot, and her screaming at people. Either screaming at unsuspecting humans because they need to come over and fuss over her, or screaming at unsuspecting canines because they need to straighten up and fly right. But there's also mail. There's not a not insignificant chunk of mail. I got a bunch of periodicals, a bunch of mail, actual letters type stuff, but also a bunch of book packages, making me start to think that maybe I need to make a little more room for book packages, which would be nice. I think the United States is poised, for good or ill, to join a great deal of the rest of the Western world in drastically relaxing COVID protocols, COVID strictures. I don't know if that'll be permanent. I don't know if that's a big mistake. I don't know if that'll cause a huge rebound in cases and hospitalizations and, God forbid, mortalities. But it could mean more mail, at the very least, in the dumbest possible redundation of that. It could mean more mail. So what have we got here? Okay, this is an indie book from Turtle Point Press. I think they've sent me some things that I've really liked. So this comes out in late June. Won't be thinking about it anytime soon. This is Droll Tales by Iris Smiles. Okay, the book comes out in late June. Indie Next nomination is stamped on the cover as late March. I don't know what that is. Maybe that must be something I just don't know about. So let's see here. Is this going to be an actual nod to Balzac? Let's take a look. This book, the author moves the spotlight off her eponymous anti-heroine to illuminate a wider and more mysterious world. Acting here as a sort of literary P.T. Barnum, she draws back the curtain on a wondrous variety show, an oddball menagerie of melancholy heroes in fabulous adventures that range from the mundane to the marvelous. Occasionally the author appears among them, donning various guises, as narrator, supporting character, doppelganger, or distant figure. But more often these characters speak for themselves, as they explore themes of time, loss, love, art, and the sanctity and absurdity of life itself. Moving, surreal, characteristically witty, and sly, this book is more than anything original. While referencing movements in art, history, philosophy, science, and even the occult, the characters here speak in their own language. Pig Latin may be the only way to truly appreciate and understand. Okay, Mallarmé, you will learn why would that be the case. Why wouldn't French be the way? Okay, so the world of this novel is one in which reality is a mutually agreed upon illusion, life is a Ponzi scheme, love a paradox, and sorrow our only constant. Yet this same world, as in our own, is where we find joy. Okay. So who is this author? I'm clearly meant to know this author. I don't think I do. Do you? Iris Smiles is the author of 2 previous books of fiction. Iris Has Free Time and Dating Tips for the Unemployed, which was a semifinalist for the Thurber Prize for American Humor. I read Iris Has Free Time. It was most certainly not fiction. It was straight up undigested autobiography. I guess maybe the author lied and called it fiction, and maybe her publisher also lied and called it fiction. We get a lot of those lies these days. I wonder if we're ever going to get anybody called on it if they maybe try the opposite. I imagine sanctimony does work in reverse, so that if somebody were to write a navel-gazing, toe-lint picking memoir, and then insist to their friends and to their publisher that it be called a World War II history, I wonder if they'd be called on it. Maybe they would. It's a lie either way. If you write something that has no fiction in it, you have not written a work of fiction. But her essays and stories have been published in the New Yorker, the New York Times, the Atlantic, Vogue, Bomb, Paris Review Daily, The Baffler, and Best American Travel Writing, among other publications. And she divides her time between New York City and Greece. This doesn't come out. No mention of literary derivations of the title there, but it doesn't come out until midsummer, so I don't have to think about it. But it might be of interest to you. So let's see what this next one is. It's a finished copy of something. I'll just make a mess and then clean it up when I'm off camera. Oh, that's disgusting. I have touched an invoice with non-gloved hands. What is this? Okay, this is by Tony Rothman, and it is a little book about the Big Bang. Do you want to see the bean? Hi, baby. How's my little baby? I moved you from the bedroom to the couch. I did. You're sweet. I did. Oh, you're so pretty. You are. Let's see here. So is this actually about the Big Bang? I don't have a sheet on it, but let's see. What came before the Big Bang? How will the universe evolve into the future? Will there be a big crunch? Questions like these have no definite answers, but there are many contending theories. In this book, physicist and writer Tony Rothman guides expert and uninitiated readers alike through the most compelling mysteries surrounding the nature and origins of the universe. Cosmologists are busy these days, actively researching dark energy, dark matter, and quantum gravity, all at the foundation of our understanding of space, time, and the laws governing the universe. Enlisting thoughtful analogies and a step-by-step approach, Rothman breaks down what is known and what isn't, and the details the pioneering experimental techniques scientists are bringing to bear on riddles of nature at once utterly basic and stunningly complex. In the author's telling, modern cosmology proves to be an intricate web of theoretical predictions confirmed by exquisitely precise observations, all of which make the theory of the Big Bang one of the most solid edifices ever constructed in the history of science. At the same time, Rothman is careful to distinguish established physics from speculation, and in doing so highlights current controversies and avenues of further exploration. The idea of the Big Bang is now almost a century old, yet with each new year comes a fresh enigma. That is scientific progress in a nutshell. Every groundbreaking discovery, every creative explanation provokes new and more fundamental questions. The author takes stock of what we have learned and encourages readers to ponder the mysteries to come. So this actually is a little book about the Big Bang. I think one of the most persuasive current ideas about the Big Bang is that, of course, it wasn't a bang. That it was all of space and time and matter and existence and whatnot spasms. It cycles up and down, but that nothing came from nothing. That there was always something. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know enough about it at all. Certainly cosmology is not a well-informed area of my interest, but I am interested in it. No date on this, but it's a finished copy. This cute little thing is going to be $25 in your bookstore. Could be out already, for all I know. I'll have to check the date and put a little slip in it. Great. So we've got a little astronomy. Fantastic. All right, what's this next one? Oh, okay, great. I think the publishers talked to me about this. I don't have a sheet for it, but it's an author that I like, so I'm happy to share. This is Shifty's Boys, a Mick Hardin novel by Chris Offutt. And this is Hicklet. This is Appalachian Noir. Let's see here. CID officer turned small-town investigator Mick Hardin is up against unforeseen forces who will stop at nothing in this vividly atmospheric thriller from acclaimed literary crime novelist Chris Offutt. Offutt, no idea. I don't know this kid or this guy at all. A literary master across genres, award-winning author Chris Offutt's latest book, Shifty's Boys, is a compelling, propulsive thriller of murder and mayhem in the hills of eastern Kentucky. This author knows that area well. He knows the rhythms of speech and the type of people, and he is not straying from that area. Mick Hardin is an Army CID officer home on leave, recovering from an IED attack. All right, we've got a lot of acronyms here. What is CID? First of all, I don't even want to guess. A department, I'm assuming, is the D, but I don't even want to guess what that is. IED is improvised explosive device, right? A sort of homemade bomb that litter the roads all over the place. When a body is found in the center of town, it's Barney Kissick, the local heroin dealer, and the city police see it as an occupational hazard. But when Barney's mother, Shifty, asks Mick to take a look, it seems there's more to the killing than it seems. That might have been better phrased. Mick should be rehabbing his leg, signing his divorce papers, and getting out of town, and most of all, staying out of the way of his sister Linda's selection as sheriff. But he keeps on looking, and suddenly he's getting shot at himself. A dark, pacey crime novel about grief and revenge, and the surprises hidden below the surface, Shifty's Boys is a tour de force that confirms Chris Offutt's Mick Harden as one of the most appealing new investigators in fiction. And I don't know about Mick Harden, but I can certainly recommend this author. This author can write like the Dickens. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's the author of The Killing Hills, Country Dark. Country Dark was fantastic. It will stick with you. And The Good Brother. I think we've seen all of those books on this channel. Country Dark is the one, if you've got a selection at your library, or you want to pick just one at your bookstore, I would recommend Country Dark. The short story collection is Kentucky Straight and Out of the Woods, and 3 memoirs. He has written screenplays for Weeds, True Blood, and Treem, and has received fellowships from the Lannan and Guggenheim Foundations. And this thing comes out in early June. Shifty's Boys comes out in early June. A crime novel, but crime novel is not doing it justice. If it's this author, it'll have a lot of meat on its bone. But again, I don't have to think about it. I might have to think about The Big Bang, but I don't think about anything that's coming out in June. That is too far away for me to worry about. So this next one is loaded with paperwork. Oh no, there's another invoice. Gross. Oh, okay, great. Oh, fantastic. All right, we've seen this already. This is the finished copy of something that we've seen already. There's a lot of paperwork on it, but I cannot recommend this strongly enough. This is the first of its kind. This is edited by Daniel Mark Epstein, and it is Rapture and Melancholy, the Diaries of Edna St. Vincent Millay. This is the finished copy. This is a March release. Yeah, March 8th. This is I believe the first ever collection of the diaries of the great poet Edna St. Vincent Millay, and it's amazing to read through. Diary and letter collections of figures like this almost always are. It has that shivery feeling because if you know this author, you almost certainly know her through her work. And here, the work is sometimes very distant. Here you get the person, but very much, often very much the tone that runs throughout so many of her great poems. Let's see here. Kirkus Reviews loved it. Let's see. This is the first publication of the diaries Millay kept from adolescence until middle age, between 1907 and 1949. The English author Thomas Hardy proclaimed that America had 2 great attractions, the skyscraper and the poetry of Edna St. Vincent Millay. In these intimate diaries, the great American poet illuminates not only her literary genius, but also her life as a devoted daughter, sister, wife, and public heroine, and finally as a solitary, tragic figure. That public heroine thing really comes out in these diaries because she was socially involved, very much so, was willing to, there are some great brace of entries where she's deeply involved in the protests over the Sacco and Vanzetti trial here in Boston, and would routinely go to the Boston jailhouse in order to bail people out. She would go with enough money to bail people out. She put her money where her mouth is, in other words, which is something that Twitter activists in the 21st century don't do. And it was an element of her I don't think I've ever read, aside from Nancy Milford's book, I don't think I've ever read a biography of Edna St. Vincent Millay. Nancy Milford's book, Savage Beauty, I strongly recommend. It is one of the great biographies of the 20th century. Anyway, who was the girl who wrote Renaissance, that marvel of early 20th century poetry? What trauma and spiritual journey inspired the poem? And after such celebrity as a best-selling poet and jazz icon, why did she vanish into near seclusion? And this, you follow her all throughout. It's in some ways every bit as marvelous as an actual biography would be. So I cannot recommend it highly enough. This is, this does not have, do we have any information about the price? It's Princeton University Press. It probably won't be very very cheap. But I'm wondering if any of this paperwork. Oh, this paperwork. Can you give me anything that I can actually tell you? Anything I can use? I've got the television event schedule for the author. No, I don't think I do. I don't think I have anything useful that I can tell. Oh, wait. The final page of this little Deuteronomy here comes out on March the 8th. It'll be $35. But it's never happened before. So you can put this on your shelf with a big collection of collected poems of Edna St. Vincent Millay and with Savage Beauty, a great biography of this figure. So there you go. Fantastic. Glad to have it in a finished copy. And then we have this, to finish out, we have this big cardboard thing, which is probably another finished copy. Let's see if I'm right about that. Another invoice. Gross. Oh, okay. No, this is a book. This is a double. Well, we've already seen this. This comes out in March 15th. This is from Thames and Hudson. This is Kelly Grovier's book, A New Way of Seeing, The History of Art in 57 Works. Let's see here. I have a sheet now for this one. What elevates a work of art to the level of masterpiece? What keeps it suspended in popular imagination, generation after generation, century after century? What makes great art great? From a carved mammoth tusk from 40,000 years ago, to Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights in 1510, to Duchamp's Fountain in 1917, a remarkable lexicon of astonishing imagery has imprinted itself on the global cultural consciousness of the past 40,000 years. The author devotes himself to illuminating these and more than 50 other seminal works in this book, A Radical New History of Art, stepping away from biography, style, and the chronology of isms that preoccupy most art history. A New Way of Seeing invites interaction with art, learning from the artworks, not just about them. And I think I showed you this yesterday. It is all full-color reproductions of these artworks. You're not asked to imagine the color. You're not asked to imagine the work. The rights were paid. No expense was spared to get just lavish attention on all of these things. Fantastic. So this comes out in mid-March. So that is our mail for today. A very good, very varied batch. And not small, not one book or two books. Leading me to think I need to make more room for my review copies. Maybe, finally, after 2 years and change, the traffic of review copies might be going back up. That would be great. I speak not as a dinosaur. You all know that I love ebooks. I absolutely love them. And I have a huge traffic of them. Oh, good Lord. We watch Thomas's channel, SFF 180. He specializes in science fiction and fantasy. And he has occasionally flirted with the idea of doing e-galley mailbags. He does a Mailbag Monday where he shows you all of his new arrivals that come in the mail. And he's flirted with the idea of doing e-galley mailbags as well. I think he has tentatively come to the conclusion that just doesn't have the bang of opening a package with a physical book in it, even though he, like me, I'm sure, is flooded with e-copies and NetGalley copies. Publishers took advantage of that when they couldn't get stuff out to reviewers. But I wonder if that balance might change. If, again, for good or ill, whether it's wise or not, I myself think it's probably not wise. If the whole Western world just immediately relaxes COVID protocols and suddenly everybody can go back to work, everybody can go back to the office, everybody can go back to warehouses, maybe the traffic will increase to nothing like what it used to be, but maybe. But I'm not preferring these physical copies because I'm a dinosaur. I love reading on my iPad. Absolutely love it. I set huge amounts of time for it aside every night. But in addition to being a reviewer, I'm also a book section editor for a couple of different venues where I need to get books out to reviewers. And you typically can't do that with an e-copy. So you typically have to mail somebody. And also, even if I could do it with an e-copy, I'm not sure I'd want to. Most freelance book reviewers are not extremely well compensated. So giving them a copy of the book is one of the very few ways that you can sort of sweeten the deal a little. So I would like it, in other words, not as a Luddite, but just as a working professional. I would like it if these things the numbers started to go back up. But in the meantime, I'm not displeased with this at all. So we have A New Way of Seeing from Thames and Hudson. We have Rapture and Melancholy, the Diaries of Edna St. Vincent Millay. We have Shifty's Boys by Chris Alford, an author I know already that I like. His credit in the Bank of Steve could not be higher, so I'm sure that I will like this. We have A Little Book About the Big Bang. Perfect little stocking stuffer idea for any astronomy fan that you happen to know. And finally, Droll Tales by Iris Smiles. No idea how to categorize this. I will get a little bit more informed about it the closer we get to midsummer. We are a long way off from midsummer today. It is warmer than it's been in a while. Warm enough so that it's not, neither Frida nor I are panicking when we're outside. But that's going to change this weekend. that's going to change. The temperature is going to be even higher tomorrow, but then we could get snow. And the temperatures are going to go right back down to single digits Fahrenheit at night. That is the pattern that we can expect in this new century. Not, as science deniers like to sneer, that things are just going to steadily get warmer and warmer and warmer. Things will be doing that, but it'll happen so gradually that you won't really feel it. Instead, the pattern we can expect is wild swings as the warming and cooling forces gain a lot more energy than they can handle. We're going to see wild swings. So you will see, instead of the normal pattern in, for instance, northern Texas, instead of that normal pattern, northern Texas will have a 21 straight day streak where the temperatures are 120 degrees Fahrenheit. 21 straight days in a row. And in the same year, that same town in northern Texas will also be plunged into record-setting blizzards and cold. That's the sort of thing that we can expect, not just everything steadily getting warmer. But I will see that in microcosm in these next few days. But right now, mighty nice. Mighty nice not to be huddling under the covers. So there might be more mail today. Could be. I clearly need to think about rearranging shelves. Always a pleasant thought. But in the meantime, I will wrap this up, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.